Good morning, everyone. Let's start with a truth bomb. Not everyone deserves access to you. I spent years trying to convince people I was worth their time, trying to explain myself to those who were never listening in the first place. Giving my energy to relationships that ran on false intimacy, people who smiled in front of me and cut me down the moment I turned my back. And maybe you've been there too. Maybe you've stayed too long in spaces that drained you. Maybe you kept showing up for people who were only half there for you. Maybe, just maybe, you've wasted yourself on people who never even deserved a seat at your table. So here's what I need you to know. You don't owe anyone your exhaustion. You don't owe them your silence when your gut is screaming, "This is not okay." You don't owe them your loyalty when their actions show you that their loyalty is conditional. The cost of trying to belong in the wrong places is losing yourself in the process. And I know what you're thinking, but Brene, I don't want to be unkind. Listen to me. Boundaries aren't unkind. They are clarity. You can be compassionate and still refuse to participate in relationships built on manipulation. You can be loving and still say, "I will not betray myself to keep this peace." Because when you stop wasting yourself on the wrong people, you make room for the right ones. The ones who show up fully, honestly, and without hidden agendas. The ones who don't just say the right words, but back them up with actions. So here's your permission slip. Walk away. Not in anger, not in resentment, but in deep, soul-rooted clarity that you deserve better. Don't waste yourself for double-faced people. You are worth more than that. We are taught from an early age to be kind, to be inclusive, to be accommodating, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Kindness is powerful, connection is beautiful, and community is essential. But what we are not taught is discernment. We are not taught that not everyone should have access to our energy, our time, or our emotional well-being. We assume that if someone seeks us out, if they want a piece of us, then we are somehow obligated to hand it over. And this is where we set ourselves up for exhaustion, for disappointment, and for emotional depletion. The truth is, there are people in this world who don't come into your life to love you. They come to use you. They come to drain you, to take what they need, and then leave you questioning your worth. These people wear masks. They show you what you want to see, but behind closed doors, their loyalty shifts with convenience. They are there when it serves them, but absent when you need them most. And if we're not careful, we spend our days trying to prove our worth to people who were never truly invested in us to begin with. What makes this even more complicated is that these people are often charming, engaging, even intoxicating at first. They make you feel special, seen, valued. They know exactly what to say to draw you in. But over time, the cracks begin to show. You start to notice that the support isn't mutual, that their interest in you depends on what you can provide. Your energy, your status, your connections, your emotional labor. And suddenly you realize that this relationship was never about you at all. It was about what they could extract from you. And here's the hard part. Sometimes we willingly stay in these relationships, not because we don't see the truth, but because we desperately want to believe in the version of the person we met in the beginning. We hold on to potential. We tell ourselves that maybe if we just love a little harder, if we prove that we are worthy, they will finally show up for us the way we show up for them. But let me be clear. It is not your job to teach someone how to value you. If they don't see it on their own, they never will. Boundaries are the antidote, not walls. Walls keep everyone out, even the good ones. Boundaries, on the other hand, allow you to decide who gets access to you, how much, and under what conditions. They are a way of saying, I will give my time, my love, my energy, but only where it is reciprocated, respected, and valued. And this isn't about being cold or distant. This is about self-respect, about knowing that your worth does not decrease just because someone else fails to recognize it. The moment you start protecting your energy, something remarkable happens. You begin to attract the right people, the ones who show up without hidden agendas, the ones who don't just say the right things but follow through with action, the ones who don't just want something from you but want to walk alongside you, support you, celebrate you, and challenge you in healthy ways. And trust me, the peace that comes with surrounding yourself with the right people is worth the temporary discomfort of letting go of the wrong ones. So let this be your reminder. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone has earned the right to hear your deepest thoughts, to be in your most vulnerable spaces, to share in your successes or witness your struggles. The people who do, you'll know them by the way they show up, consistently, without pretense. Everyone else, let them watch from a distance. There's something deeply intoxicating about feeling seen. We crave it. As human beings, we are wired for connection, for belonging, for that sense of you matter. And when someone steps into our lives and offers that feeling, when they mirror back our dreams, when they nod in all the right places, when they make us feel special, it's easy to believe that we've found something real. But here's the catch. Not all intimacy is real intimacy. Some of it is an illusion. And the most dangerous kind, the kind that looks and feels real, but is actually just manipulation in disguise. False intimacy is the kind of connection that moves fast. Too fast. It skips the natural rhythm of trust building and jumps straight into the deep end. It's the friend who suddenly calls you their bestie after 2 conversations. It's the coworker who acts like your closest confidant but shares your struggles as gossip the moment you're not around. It's the person who love bombs you with attention and affection only to withdraw the second they no longer need you. False intimacy creates a sense of closeness that hasn't been earned. And when you mistake it for the real thing, you start to rely on it, to open yourself up, to become vulnerable in ways that can later be used against you. The problem with false intimacy is that it's high on emotion and low on substance. It feeds on urgency. It's built on grand gestures instead of quiet consistency. Real intimacy, on the other hand, takes time. It's formed in the small, everyday moments. When someone remembers how you take your coffee, when they check in on you even when they don't need something, when they listen without trying to fix or one-up you. Real intimacy is steady. False intimacy is a performance. And when you learn to tell the difference, you save yourself from a lot of heartbreak. But here's where it gets tricky. False intimacy is seductive. It feels good to be chosen so quickly, to be someone's confidant, to be given that special kind of attention. And if you've ever been let down or overlooked before, this kind of connection can feel like the thing you've been waiting for. But ask yourself, do they show up for you when there's nothing in it for them? Do they make space for your feelings, or do they just expect you to hold theirs? Are they consistent, or do they disappear when you stop feeding their need for validation? The answers to these questions will tell you everything you need to know. False intimacy isn't just dangerous because it creates dependency. It's dangerous because it leaves you questioning yourself. When these people fade away, when they betray your trust, when they reveal that they were never truly invested in you, It can feel like you were the problem, like you were too much or not enough. But let me tell you this, their inability to sustain real connection says everything about them and nothing about you. You didn't imagine the closeness. You just believed in something that wasn't built to last. The healthiest relationships, whether friendships, family, or romantic, are the ones that don't need constant validation to survive. They don't burn out as quickly as they ignite. They don't make you feel like you have to prove your worth to keep them. They don't turn intimacy into a transaction. They just are. And once you experience that kind of steady, grounded connection, you'll realize that anything built on false intimacy was never worth your time to begin with. So if someone rushes into your life, pouring out their soul, making you feel like you are the only person in the world who truly understands them, pause, breathe, pay attention. Because real relationships don't demand that you dive in blindly. They let you wade in at your own pace, build trust, layer by layer, and create something that isn't just intense, but real. Loyalty is a beautiful thing when it's mutual. When it's built on respect, trust, and reciprocity, loyalty can be the foundation of the most meaningful relationships in our lives. But here's what we don't talk about enough. Loyalty should never come at the expense of your well-being, your dignity, or your sense of self. If you find yourself constantly justifying someone's mistreatment, constantly making excuses for why they can't show up for you the way you show up for them, it's time to ask yourself, is this really loyalty or is this self-betrayal? We've all been there. We've all held onto relationships that we knew deep down were no longer good for us. Maybe it was a friendship that felt one-sided, where you were always the one doing the emotional heavy lifting. Maybe it was a romantic relationship where you kept lowering your standards, hoping the other person would finally rise to meet them. Maybe it was a family dynamic where you felt obligated to stay silent, to tolerate behavior that chipped away at your self-worth simply because family is, and through it all, we tell ourselves the same thing, but I don't want to give up on them. Here's the truth. Staying in spaces that diminish you isn't loyalty, it's fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of being seen as the bad person. Fear of what might happen if you finally choose yourself instead of prioritizing someone else's comfort. And fear is a powerful thing. It convinces us that if we just try a little harder, if we just become a little smaller, if we just learn to tolerate a little more, then maybe, just maybe, things will change. But here's what I need you to understand. Your value does not increase by making yourself easier to swallow. Loyalty becomes toxic when it asks you to abandon yourself, when it demands that you tolerate things that make you feel unseen, unheard, or unimportant, when it turns into an expectation rather than a choice. And yet, so many of us have been conditioned to believe that walking away means we're selfish, or cruel, or ungrateful, that cutting ties means we failed. But what if I told you that true loyalty, the kind that is built on love and respect, should never require you to betray yourself in the process? Real loyalty is a two-way street. It's not about proving your worth by enduring mistreatment. It's not about sacrificing your peace just to keep the illusion of a relationship intact. True loyalty exists in relationships where both people are equally invested, where both people feel safe, valued, and respected. And if you're the only one fighting to keep a relationship alive, that's not loyalty, that's an emotional cage. And no one, no matter how much you love them, is worth locking yourself away for. The hardest part about choosing yourself is that some people won't understand. They will call you disloyal, They will say you gave up too easily. They will paint you as the villain in their story because they benefited from your silence, from your willingness to endure, from your inability to walk away. But hear me when I say this. Their version of the story does not define you. You do not have to set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. You do not have to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. The relationships meant for you will never require you to abandon yourself in order to keep them. So, before you call it loyalty, ask yourself, is this relationship nourishing me or is it depleting me? Is it lifting me up or is it keeping me small? Am I choosing this relationship out of love or out of fear? Because the moment you start prioritizing yourself, the moment you realize that your loyalty should never come at the cost of losing who you are, that's the moment you reclaim your power. And nothing is worth more than that. For so many of us, the idea of setting boundaries feels uncomfortable. It feels rigid, harsh, like we're cutting people off, shutting them out, or being unkind. We've been taught that being a good person means being accommodating, saying yes when we want to say no, and making ourselves available even when we're running on empty. But let me be clear, boundaries are not cruelty. Boundaries are clarity. And if someone makes you feel guilty for setting them, it's because they were benefiting from your lack of them. A boundary isn't a wall, it's a guideline. It's you saying, this is where I end and you begin. It's the invisible but essential line that protects your energy, your time, and your emotional well-being. It's recognizing that you are not responsible for managing other people's expectations at the expense of your own peace. And here's what I need you to know. People who genuinely love and respect you will honor your boundaries. The ones who push back, guilt trip you, or try to convince you that you're being too much are the ones who were never interested in a healthy, reciprocal relationship to begin with. The biggest mistake we make when setting boundaries is thinking that we need the other person's approval, that we need them to understand or agree with our limits before we can enforce them. But let me tell you something. You do not need permission to protect your peace. If someone gets upset because you're no longer available at their convenience, that's their discomfort to manage, not yours. You are not responsible for how people react to the boundaries you set. You are only responsible for setting them in the first place. And I get it. This is hard, especially if you've spent years being the yes person, the fixer, the peacemaker, the one who smooths things over, keeps the peace, and makes sure everyone else is comfortable. But at what cost? How many times have you betrayed yourself just to avoid disappointing someone else? How many times have you swallowed your exhaustion, ignored your gut, or said yes out of guilt rather than genuine willingness? Because here's the truth. Every time you break your own boundary, you teach people that they don't have to respect them either. Boundaries are an act of self-respect. They are a declaration that you value yourself enough to protect your time, your energy, and your emotional space. They are not selfish. They are necessary. And the right people, the ones who truly belong in your life, will never make you feel guilty for having them. They won't take your no personally. They won't demand explanations or try to negotiate your limits. They will respect your boundaries, not because they have to, but because they respect you. The most beautiful thing about boundaries is that they don't just protect you. They reveal the truth about your relationship. They show you who is willing to meet you in a space of mutual respect and who only wanted you as long as they could control or benefit from you. And while that realization can be painful, it's also liberating. Because once you stop over-explaining, over-apologizing, and overextending yourself, You make room for the relationships that actually nourish you instead of drain you. So the next time you feel guilty for setting a boundary, remind yourself, you are not being mean. You are being clear. And clarity is a gift not just for you, but for everyone in your life. Because when you honor your own limits, you teach others how to honor them too. We live in a world that puts a lot of weight on words. We're drawn to what people say, to promises, apologies, grand declarations of love and loyalty. We hold on to the things people tell us, replaying them in our minds, convincing ourselves that words alone mean something. And yes, words do have power, but words without action, they are just noise. They are just empty syllables strung together to create the illusion of effort. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your life believing in people's potential instead of their reality. Here's the hard truth. If someone's actions don't match their words, believe the actions every time. Because words can be manipulated, but actions tell the real story. It's easy to say, I care about you. It's easy to say, I'll do better, or I'm here for you, or I love you. But what does that look like? Does I'm here for you mean they actually show up when you need them, or just when it's convenient? Does I care about you mean they invest in your well-being, or just that they say nice things when they want something? The people who are truly in your corner won't just talk about it, they will be about it. Their support won't be performative. It won't be something they do for attention, credit, or validation. They will show up in ways that don't require a spotlight. They will follow through even when no one is watching. Because real love, real friendship, real loyalty, it's not about what sounds good. It's about what's consistently proven through action. And I get it. We want to believe the words. We want to give people the benefit of the doubt. We want to believe that if someone says they'll change, they mean it. That if someone says they care, they do. That if someone says they value us, they will treat us accordingly. But the harshest lessons in life come when we cling to words and ignore the actions that contradict them. When we excuse inconsistency, when we accept promises in place of proof, when we convince ourselves that they didn't mean it when they hurt us over and over again. The truth is, people show you who they are, not with their words, but with their past. Someone who constantly cancels on you but swears they love spending time with you, believe the cancellations. Someone who apologizes but keeps repeating the same behavior, believe the pattern. Someone who says they respect you but continuously crosses your boundaries, believe what they do, not what they say. Because at the end of the day, a person's real character isn't measured by what they promise, it's measured by what they deliver. This isn't about being unforgiving. It's not about expecting perfection. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone falls short sometimes. But here's the difference. People who truly care will make mistakes and then take accountability. They will apologize and change their behavior. They won't just tell you they're working on it. They will show you over time that they are willing to do better. But if someone is all talk, if their words are just a shield to keep you from leaving, if their actions continue to hurt you despite repeated chances, that's not a mistake. That's a choice. And you don't have to keep paying the price for someone else's choices. So the next time someone's words don't align with their actions, don't argue, don't explain, don't beg them to do better. Just step back, observe, and trust what they are showing you. Because in the end, people will tell you who they are, but their actions will always tell you the truth. Think about it. Your energy is one of the most valuable things you have. It's what fuels your passion, your creativity, your relationships, and your well-being. Every conversation, every interaction, every thought you invest in someone or something costs you energy. But here's the problem. Too many of us are spending our energy on people and situations that drain us instead of investing it in what actually fulfills us. And the truth is, if you keep pouring your energy into the wrong places, you'll wake up one day feeling empty, exhausted, and wondering why you have nothing left for yourself. Energy is just like money. Imagine if every time you checked your bank account, you saw withdrawals going to things that don't serve you, subscriptions you don't use, impulse buys that leave you regretful, debts you didn't even realize you were paying. That's exactly what happens when you give your energy to people who don't appreciate it, to arguments that go nowhere, to relationships that only take and never give. You are making withdrawals from your own well-being. And we all know people who seem to thrive on taking more than they give. They come to you with their problems, their chaos, their needs. But where are they when you need support? They expect you to listen, to comfort, to hold space for them. But when it's your turn, they're suddenly too busy, too distracted, too uninterested. And yet you keep showing up. You keep investing. You keep believing that maybe, just maybe, if you give enough, they will finally reciprocate. But let me tell you something. If someone only reaches for you when they need something, that's not a relationship, it's a transaction, and you are not a limitless resource. So many of us hold on to draining relationships because we're afraid of being mean if we walk away. But let me reframe that for you. Protecting your energy is not cruelty, it's self-respect. Saying no to people who constantly take without giving is not selfish, it's survival. You are not obligated to be someone's emotional dumping ground. You do not owe your energy to people who leave you feeling depleted. And if someone gets upset because you set boundaries, that's just proof that they were benefiting from your lack of them. Start thinking of your energy the way you think of your time, because in many ways they are the same thing. You wouldn't spend hours working for free for someone who doesn't appreciate you. So why are you spending your emotional energy on people who don't respect you? Why are you giving your attention to things that leave you drained instead of fulfilled? Every ounce of energy you spend on the wrong things is energy you could be investing in yourself, in your passions, in the people who actually deserve you. And here's something else to consider. Where your energy goes, your life follows. If you keep feeding negativity, exhaustion, and one-sided relationships, that's what will dominate your life. But if you start redirecting your energy toward growth, toward love, toward people who uplift you, your entire reality will start to shift. It's not magic, it's alignment. It's making conscious choices about who and what gets access to your time, your heart, and your emotional space. So ask yourself, where is my energy going? Who or what is taking up space in my life without giving anything in return? What would happen if I started investing my energy in things that actually made me feel alive instead of drained? Because the truth is, you don't have infinite energy to waste. And the sooner you start protecting it, the sooner you'll realize just how much of your life can change when you spend your energy wisely. At the end of the day, you are responsible for the life you create. You are responsible for how you allow people to treat you, where you invest your energy, and what you tolerate. And the truth is, not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your loyalty, your time, or your heart. Some people will only take what benefits them and leave you drained. Some will say the right things but never back them up with action. Some will make you feel like setting boundaries is wrong simply because they can no longer take advantage of your lack of them. But here's what I want you to know. Choosing yourself is not selfish. Walking away from people who drain you is not cruel. Protecting your energy is not mean. You were never meant to exist in a constant state of exhaustion, trying to prove your worth to people who were never willing to truly see you. You deserve to be surrounded by people who value you, not just for what you can do for them, but for who you are. So stop feeling guilty for outgrowing relationships that no longer serve you. Stop explaining yourself to people who have already shown you that they don't respect you. Stop wasting your time on double-faced people who only show up when it benefits them. You are not responsible for fixing, saving, or tolerating people who refuse to meet you halfway. You are only responsible for honoring yourself. And when you finally do, when you finally stop begging people to value you, stop chasing after the wrong things, stop sacrificing your peace just to keep someone else comfortable, that's when everything changes. That's when you reclaim your power. And once you do, you will never again waste yourself on people who were never worthy of you in the first place.